Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some breaking news out of Philadelphia. The Sixers just got hit with a brutal schedule, national TV snubs, and some terrifying updates on Joel Embiid's health. We're going to break down why the NBA might already be counting Philly out before the season even starts. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. 2 years ago, the Philadelphia 76ers looked like they were knocking on the door of an NBA championship. Joel Embiid finally won his MVP. Tyrese Maxey was blossoming into a star, and the franchise looked like it had a plan. Fast forward to now, and instead of hype, Philly fans are filled with fear. The NBA schedule makers just sent them a brutal message. Joel Embiid's health is looking scarier by the day, and Paul George, their big offseason signing, is already dealing with injuries. Today, we're breaking down why the Sixers' so-called dream season could already be over before it even begins. On paper, the Sixers should be right there with the league's elite. Joel Embiid, the 2023 MVP. Paul George, a two-way superstar when healthy. Tyrese Maxey, young, fearless, and still improving every year. Add in number 3 overall pick, VJ Edgecombe, who brings energy and scoring upside. Plus veterans like Kyle Lowry, Quentin Grimes, Jared McCann, and Kelly Oubre. And you've got a team that can go 8 or 9 deep with real talent. Compare that to the rest of the East. The Celtics, Bucks, and Pacers all took hits this summer. The Knicks just fired Tom Thibodeau for Mike Brown, a coach with 1 playoff series win in 12 years. On paper, Philly should be smiling. Instead, their fan base feels hopeless, and the NBA just confirmed their fears. And nothing shows how important a team is to the NBA like national TV games. Last year, Philly was a must-watch with 27. This year, just 14. That's a 13-game drop, the single biggest downgrade in the entire NBA. No Christmas Day showcase, no Martin Luther King Day spotlight, not even an opening week feature. That's the league saying, we don't believe in you. And if that wasn't enough of a message, the NBA then decided to twist the knife even further with Philly's schedule. Philadelphia has been dealt one of the toughest schedules in the entire league, a league-high 16 back-to-backs. For a team built around injury-prone stars, that is absolutely brutal. Think about it. Every back-to-back almost guarantees at least one of Embiid or Paul George will be sitting out. And in today's NBA, where seeding can swing on just a couple of games, this could bury Philly before the playoffs even start. But honestly, the schedule isn't even the scariest part. The real nightmare is the thing the schedule doesn't show: Joel Embiid himself. We've seen this movie before. Kawhi Leonard back in San Antonio, insisting he wasn't ready despite the Spurs doctors clearing him. That saga destroyed the Spurs championship window. Or Lonzo Ball, whose minor meniscus tear turned into multiple surgeries, experimental cartilage transplants, and years of uncertainty. Both players had mystery injuries that doctors struggled to explain. Now, Embiid is following the same blueprint: repeat surgeries, vague updates, endless setbacks. An anonymous NBA medical source put it bluntly: when you have a second surgery to fix the initial problem and still have complications, that's never a good sign. That is exactly where Embiid is right now. As if Joel Embiid's status wasn't already terrifying, the Sixers' other superstar isn't exactly a model of durability either. Paul George is coming off yet another surgery this offseason after picking up injuries during training. That's on top of the nagging issues that have followed him for years. At this stage of his career, you almost have to expect PG to miss stretches of the season. So, now Philly has tied their hopes to 2 players, both over 30, both on max contracts, who have some of the shakiest health records in the league. That combination is the definition of risky. But here's where things get interesting. Philadelphia didn't just draft VJ Edgecombe at number 3 because of his talent. They drafted him because they had to. Most teams in win-now mode would have traded that pick for an established veteran. Instead, the Sixers kept it because they knew Embiid and George couldn't be relied on for 82 games. Edgecombe is young, cheap, and potentially explosive. And under the new second apron salary cap rules, cheap production is priceless. Philly's paying Joel Embiid $55 million and Paul George $51 million this season alone. That's $107 million for 2 players who might not even be on the floor half the time. Edgecombe gives them hope, and more importantly, financial flexibility. Without him, this team would be stuck with 2 superstars sitting in suits while the payroll suffocates them. Now, what does all this mean for Philly's season? Realistically, they're not playing for the number 1 seed. That belongs to Cleveland, or maybe New York. Orlando's getting better too. For Philly, the realistic goal is the middle of the pack. If Joel and PG play around 50 games each, the Sixers can still profile as a 5 or 6 seed, maybe 4 if everything breaks perfectly. But that's the key, perfection. They'd have to sit Embiid and George on every back-to-back, manage their minutes, and hope they're healthy by playoff time. The NBA doesn't think they'll pull it off, which is why the schedule makers buried them in the first place. But what if it all goes wrong? What if Embiid misses significant time again? What if Paul George can't stay on the court? That's when things get ugly. With $107 million locked up in 2 sideline stars, Philly could slide all the way into the play-in. And in the East, once you're in the play-in, you're one bad night from being eliminated entirely. The Sixers window isn't wide open anymore. In fact, it might be closing faster than anyone wants to admit. And here's the part that Sixers fans really don't want to hear. The next 4 years are locked in. Joel Embiid and Paul George on massive deals through their mid-30s. Over $100 million per season tied up in players who aren't getting healthier. In the new second apron era, that's a death sentence for flexibility. You can't add more stars. You can't make creative trades. You're basically trapped, which raises the question, who were the Sixers even bidding against? Nobody else was lining up to pay Embiid that kind of money. Daryl Morey handed it to him early, and now his so-called genius front office looks exposed. Before we even talk about hope, we have to be real about why the NBA has already turned its back on Philly. The league has seen this movie too many times. Teams built around fragile stars almost never last. Think about Kawhi and Paul George in Los Angeles. Constant load management, constant injuries, and 0 finals appearances. Or even Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. On paper, they were unstoppable. In reality, they barely lasted a season. That's what the NBA sees when they look at Philly, a team that looks like a contender on paper, but could collapse in the blink of an eye. And when the schedule makers gave the Sixers 16 back-to-backs, it wasn't random. It was a message. We know you won't survive this grind. That's why this season feels different. The doubt is built in from day one. But here's the thing, sometimes when everyone counts you out, that's when teams surprise us. If Maxey takes another leap, if Edgecomb lives up to the hype, if Embiid and PG can even give Philly 50 games apiece, suddenly this isn't a play-in team anymore. This is a team that could finish 4th, upset someone in the second round, and remind everyone why they were built in the first place. It won't be easy, but stranger things have happened in the NBA. So, here's the bottom line. The Philadelphia 76ers just got hit with the harshest message an NBA team can get. The league doesn't believe in them. The schedule doesn't favor them. Their 2 superstars might not even be ready. But if there was ever a season to prove everybody wrong, it's this one. Because make no mistake, this is Philly's best chance before the contracts, the injuries, and the clock all catch up to them. For the Sixers, it's now or never. What do you think? Are the Sixers being counted out too early? Or is this team already finished before the season even begins? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.